Muhabat Yasar. Radani Kawan, Nusut Maaat Akhet Atum Rayay. Wanuki, Mudrasun, Mulqarun, Shalil, Baba Yanun. My name is Nisut Maaat Akhet Atum Rayay, and I'm a student teacher of the master teacher, Baba Yanun. Today we have a study and an update. Today's study is called Death is What or Where. 1. The highest level of study and school of abode, above, in, on, Annu, Heliopolis, was opened up. 2. And the Hebrew called Yeshua was allowed to enter for to gain power, strength, and wisdom of Hatat, Ka'a, Patah. 3. To become a student of Pa, Wabat, Hierophant. 4. He was to learn 9 of the secrets of the mystic lore of Wu-Nuwaup, or Wu-Nuwaup, the mysteries of the life and death, and of the worlds beyond the circle of this Rayay, sun, onto Sahat, Septis, Ghutut, and others. 5. When Yeshua, Yasha, called Har to be called Rayay, Harar, Akhetwi, and finished all 9 of the studies of the senior course, he went into the Mir, or Mirat, in the chamber of Anpu, the dead, that he may learn the ancient methods of preserving a Pa Khatat, of those which contain Pa Mafkhuzat, the liquid gold of Pa Natar, whose flesh was not to decay. Pa Khatat, the bodies of the dead, and here he wrought. 6. And carriers brought the body of a widow's son to be embalmed, the weeping mother following close. Her grief was very great. 7. And Yeshua said, Good women, dry your tears. You follow but an empty shell. Your son is not there. That may be his khatat, but his ka'a, spirit, and ba'a, soul, and ah'ah, ether, has traveled on, and his flesh did not contain the gold powder. You can speak to him for 70 days before his ah'ah will travel to the beyond. 8. You weep because your son is dead. Death is not a cruel world. Your true son as a being can never die. 9. For I was, I am, I will be again. My star was seen 6 BC. I was born 4 BC. We were informed to depart to Hatat, Ka'a, Patah, and at 3 we departed to return when I was but 11 of each years to become a man at age 13, which were laws of both Hatat, Ka, Patah, and Ur-Salam. That will be Jerusalem. Number 10. While in Hatat, Ka, Patah, I gained all the wisdom one needs to know there is no real death. Number 11. Your son had a task assigned to do in the robe of flesh. He came through and not from you, and as his mother made his robe, but not his soul. 12. He came, he finished his work. And then he removed the robe of flesh, put it aside because he did no longer need it. 13. Beyond the physical sight, he has another work to do, and he will do it well, and then pass to other tasks, and by on and on. 14. For you see, sister, after physical transformation, the Maa'at soul of the deceased goes like a bird, towards the heavenly realm of Atum Rayay. 15. Who is the Nataru of both life as Atum Rayay and death as Amun Rayay? 16. It first flies over a great crystal mountain named Sur to Zabtu, abode of bliss. 17. Beyond which is the Maa'at Aratha, or place of judgment. Here they will find Pa Nataru, or the Dar, abode of the watchers, from which beings of black light watch over each individual Maa'at Arata, or realm. 18. If Pa Ba'a is pious, it is allowed after 40 days to journey on the next stage of star systems. 19. If Pa Ka'a is evil, it has committed during its lifetime outweighs or is equal to the good it has done. Pa Ka'a remains in Pa Maa'at Aratha to receive purification and punishment. 20. If Pa Khatat is inherently wicked, it is received into the belly of a giant beast named Ur, where it suffers ultimately fire and ice until all souls and spirits on Patah have passed. 21. So by his son's good works he will attain the crown of perfection. 22. And what your son has done and what he yet must do, well, all must do. 23. Now if you harbor grief and give your sorrows vent, Now if you harbor grief and give your sorrows vent, they will grow greater every day. They will absorb your very life and stain your soul until at last you will be naught but grief weighed down with sadness and tears. Which he will feel from you and wish to help you on this side and hold him up. 24. Instead of helping him, you grieve your son by your deep grief. He only needs your solace. Now as he looks on to protect you, now as he always wishes to do. 25. He is glad when you are glad. He feels your very feeling so also he is saddened, and when you are sad or grieved. 26. So at death, as is called of love, one go to bury deep your woes and smile at grief and love yourself and helping others dry their tears. 27. With duty done comes happiness and much joy and gladness cheers the hearts of those who have passed on, as it really gives that meaning he or she has passed. 28. The weeping woman then turned and went her way to find happiness and helpfulness, to bury deep her sorrows in a work of joy to others by this message. 29. Then another group of carriers came and brought Pa Hatat, the body of a Muldutat mother, to the chamber of Anpu. Death and just one mourner followed her, a girl of just 12 years old. 30. And as the cordage neared the door, the child observed a wounded bird in sore distress. 31. A cruel hunter's arrow has pierced its breast. 32. And she left following the dead and went to help the living bird. 33. With tenderness and care, she folded to her own breast the wounded bird, then hurried in her place. 34. And Har, Yeshua, then only 9 himself, said to her, why did you leave your dead to save a wounded bird? 35. The girl said, this lifeless body needs no help from me. My mother taught me this. 36. My mother taught that grief and selfish love and hopes and fears are but reflex from the lower self. Are but reflexes from the lower self. 37. That what we sense is but small waves upon the billows of a life. 38. These all will pass away. They are unreal. 39. Tears flow from hearts of flesh. Pa'achach, the etheric being, never weeps. And I am longing for the day when I can walk in the black light where tears are wept away. 40. My mother taught that all emotions are sprays that rise from human lust and hope and fears, that perfect bliss cannot be ours until we have conquered these and overcome humans' emotions to replace with actions. 41. And in the presence of that 12-year-old girl, Yeshua bowed his head in reverence. 42. He said, 43. For days and months and years I have sought to learn this highest truth that man can learn on earth. And here, a female, a child, flesh brought to earth, has told it in all in one short breath. 44. Out of the mouth of the children and babes, even suckling, hast thou taught me, and all who will listen. 45. Ordain wisdom, strength, and beauty for us. And then he laid his hand upon the girl's head and said, I am sure the blessings of my Father will rest upon you forever. And that concludes the study. And this reading actually ties into Patarak, called the conscious being, when he speaks about during death, or when you take off the garb of flesh, your soul and your spirit separates for 70 days, and then it has to come back together. And now this is another piece of the puzzle to that particular study. That's deep. Yes, because 70 days, that's the time period in which the soul and spirit still is here, and the soul must travel, even if it leaves the spirit behind. Tua. Yes, that's true. Pabanano. Yes. It's like this. Remember, you have to understand that the soul is the divine emotion, or the conscious emotional being. The soul is the rational emotional being, and the soul can be corrupted. This is why when he speaks about the judgment, it speaks about how if the soul was caught up in this world and the flesh, then it would have to stay in that state to be purified. But it never said that about the soul, right? The spirit, I'm sorry, my mistake. The spirit remains, or goes through the judgment process, but not the soul, right? The soul moves on, but the spirit, the reason why is because the spirit is a part of you that connects to the world around you, right? This is why the soul the spirit, right? Pa'ka'a can be influenced by the things around you. Your personality and how you personify is based upon your rational actions and rational intentions, and who and what you encounter. You know what I'm saying? And that's the whole purpose of living a culture, because ethics ties into rational thinking. When we exercise our ethics, Wu-Nuwaup ethics, right? Our own moral system, which is based upon conscience or conscientious gases produced by non-ether within our brain, then we could overpower those negative 6 ether spirit forces, never said soul forces. So it lets you know that the battle here for the soul deals with the spirit and the body. You know, their whole thing is to trap the soul so they can drain the soul, right? Drain the soul. Remember, all these are degrees of ether, right? Tying into emotional energy. Again, you know, when you read that book, you see what I'm talking about. They're all degrees of ether or degrees of energy. You know what I'm saying? The body would be the most, the lowest abode. Well, remember, when you read the conscious being, the way the soul is trapped is you would have to surrender your soul. You have to surrender your soul. And in that book, he explains about how one surrenders your soul. When you put on their mental uniform, when you put on their physical uniform, when you give into their ways, you surrender your soul to them. And when you read The Ghost, Patayef, it explains deeper about those particular sciences as well. Today's updates from Baba Yanun. The mammalian physical body was designed, planned, and fashioned first as feminine in the DNA genes. All males start off females in the womb. This is an actual fact. The reason masculine exists is that a gene on Y chromosome defects and derails from the original or basic genetic divine plan that ceases the testes, Latin testeria, make a will, having left a legend. A legal, valid will, testor, onto testicle. Latin, ether of 2 males, sex gland. Note, it was a genetic test, and test is underlined. It caused testes to extend from the feminine and form male or masculine sex organs, and they produce testosterone, and the word test is underlined under testosterone. Testicle, a male sex hormone, while suppressing feminine female development. The testosterone moves to the brain in late parental life and prepares the hypothalamus, the part of the brain which regulates many basic body functions as well as temperature, from a tendency to physical aggregation and a kind of sexual desire and drive that is detached from affection. They just don't care about the after effects or even emotional effect. Masculine males, unlike feminine or females, just don't have that respect of natural nature rule of cause and effect. It all starts with the defect X chromosome becoming defected in a genetic test to become from X to Y equals defected X. XX equals feminine, female. XY equals masculine, male. So, no, males don't think the same as females when it comes to lust, sex, and relationships. They think of the pleasure and not the long-term relationship of females and males, or that particular female forever. It's all in the genes. To keep the man you love, you must never relax yourself inside, out, or outside inward. Always renew yourself to be a new woman. Always look your best, smell your best, be a feminine female in all ways. Age does not matter. Your physical does. Your physical does lose what you look like when you attracted him and expect to remain attracted to him. And that's the updates. Now I must say this, with all that is being taught to us by way of Baba Yanun, we must remember that it is not about male versus female, or what they call today gender bashing. You know what I'm saying? It's all about us learning about our natural nature and what makes us what we are. And we must learn to balance the energies between masculine and feminine. So as males, we have to learn what a woman is, and as women, she must learn what a man is. And we must relearn ourselves what we are and what she is. And we must respect each other's nature for what it is and let it work for the betterment and the progression of our species. That's what it's all about. So when people hear things like this, who may not be conscious, they think, oh, let's utilize this to attack men. Or if somebody reads something about women, let's utilize this to attack women. It's not about that at all. Baba Yanun put out the book, The Sacred Feminine, to raise our daughters and as great feminines. And that our mothers in this day and time could be better examples. The same go with the masculine. And this is how we perfect ourselves as Wu-Nuwaup. And this is how we cultivate ourselves as Wu-Nuwaup. And that's fact. That's an actual fact as a male. We go by what we see first. And as males, we do expect upkeeping. That's just a reality. Any questions? I'm kind of glad it's a small crowd. Boy, man, I'll be on that. Man, I'll be crucified right now. But if there's no more questions and no more rereads, I'd like to thank everybody here for coming out. And please tune in to Wu-Nuwaup.org for more Outformation classes. And look forward to any new updates. Tawahat and travel safely, family. Wadu.